But let's talk about the next topic. And we're going to be looking at Spurs and discussing if they're ahead of schedule or if we're on track to where Ange thought we would be at this moment in time. We sit 5 points behind the league leaders, Liverpool, halfway through the season in the next round of the FA Cup. HG, do you think that we're probably a bit ahead of schedule where Ange thought we would be at this moment in time?
Where Ange thought, maybe not. Because Ange is a very, very confident man and knows what he's doing and is quite comfortable saying that. Look, at the start of the season, I thought we'd finish fifth because I knew enough about Ange to think that we'd get better, right? I don't look at many of the teams of us and think they're getting better, right? I think Arsenal obviously last season were very good. Man City and Liverpool, they're the big three. But after that, I don't trust Man United. I don't trust Ten Hag. I never have done, even though they made the Champions League. And we all knew Newcastle would find it more difficult. So do I think we are where Ange thinks we should be? Maybe. I just think for a lot of Spurs fans, we are further along than we thought. I mean, I watched the pre-season games and thought, what the heck are we doing? This is incredible. I enjoyed pre-season matches, and
for the first time ever.
Ever. And you'd switch the whole team at half time, and we'd play the same. And we lost to West Ham, but I'm sitting there thinking, when we know what we're doing, when we can tell, I mean, we're seeing, weirdly enough, at the start of the season when we went on the unbeaten run, I didn't feel like we were great. I felt like we played better in some of the games we lost against Villa or against West Ham, where we had decent football, but we just didn't win the game. So the idea now, after 6 months of training, even if they've been injured, they know what's needed, that we're all excited to see what's going to happen in our season because we know what we did when we weren't very good, but we had everyone. We've seen what we can do in times of trouble. And now we're hopefully going to have half a season where we've got 22, 23 fit players who know what they're doing. I genuinely can't wait. So are we ahead? Yes. But are we ahead of what Ange thought? Probably not.
So a question back at that then. Do you think that with 5 points off the top, I know with a few teams have games in hand, obviously, with all our players coming back now, can we do the unthinkable and actually last the distance in a title race?
Can we? Yes.
A bit hesitant there, HG.
No, I mean, I'm very my daughter's born around Easter time, right? And so I always think if it's within 5 points at the top around her birthday, then we've got right, and that hasn't happened very often, but still I am. So before that point, we're good enough to win every game, and we all know they've got that run of 4 games in early April, Newcastle, Man City. They will be the 4 games that kind of dictate the season for us. But if we can get to them and be in a position where those games are a title for not just for the opponent, but for us, and I do believe that's possible. But I'm also a Spurs fan. I don't want to sit here in January and be like, title's on, boys. I can't do that. I'm still in shock. I had 1 title chase in my lifetime, let alone another one coming around the corner. But we can. I don't expect it, but
Johnny, where's your head at? Are we ahead of schedule? Or are we right on track to where everyone thought we should be right now?
I've got to be honest. I personally think had the referee had got hold of the Chelsea game at the stage where the Chelsea players had gone through the back of Son and Maddison 3 or 4 times and then took Romero out, and then they lost the plot at that point. Had the referee got hold of it and booked a player or done something, I think we wouldn't have seen that red mist. But that game has defined our season somewhat because we lost 5 players in that game. We lost our mojo, we lost our momentum. And I do believe without that game and what's happened to us injury-wise, I truly believe we would be sitting top of the table now. I
agree.
No doubt whatsoever. As far as are we ahead or are we behind, it's quite an interesting one because I think if you ask most people at the beginning of the season, most people's concern was the Pedro Porro of 22-23. Romero, is he going to be as rash as last time and get sent off and banned? Mickey van der Ven, who is this Mickey van der Ven? He's only had a week to come in. I knew Destiny, so I was fully confident in him, but a lot of people didn't know. So a lot of the doubt, and we've signed this Vicario, we should have signed Raya. So a lot of the uncertainty at the beginning was around our defence. And a lot of the confidence was focused on our attack. And I actually think the opposite is what's transpired, because I actually think that the defence, once fully fit and there, is superb with our goalkeeper. There aren't many better in the league, I personally think. Whereas our attack, if you've watched Ange's games from his other teams, I don't believe we're fluid. I don't think there's that fluidity to our gameplay at all at the moment, which is quite incredible when you look at the fact that we've scored 33 goals from open play, joint with Liverpool. I think Arsenal are back at 20. And we are saying that we aren't flowing yet. How exciting is that? I mean, really, how exciting is that? Because, you know, this is us at half mast. This is us not with a full team. You know, we've seen better teams on paper, names on the paper over the years at a Tottenham team, but we haven't seen this exciting football, you know, even being played with substandard, well, subpar to top level players that are in the system. So I would say we are ahead and we are behind. But I do think that with the right players coming back, if we manage to get Maddison, who's back training this week, and a few others, then I have hope that, you know, we need to get results from Brentford and Everton. And if we can do that, I think when the boys come back, minus Bissouma with his latest ailment, we're going to be fine. And we're going to be a team that everyone fears to play.
It's also been just completely understated. I know people have talked about it a lot, but I think it's been completely understated from people outside of Tottenham how well Spurs are actually doing with all the carnage that has gone on. Yeah. Like, you look at any other club in the Premier League, if they had the amount of injuries to the key players that we had in our team, they wouldn't be anywhere near to as close as we are, in my opinion. You know, you look at Man City, you know, Rodri goes out for 4 games. They lose 4 games in a row. We've had Maddison out, Bissouma's out, Romero, Van de Ven. You know, the list is endless of the players that we've had out in this team. And when you look at how important Van de Ven was first part of the 10 games, you know, he was pivotal to what we were doing. Maddison was like close to being the best player in the team. I always take it back to the Arsenal comparison. Like, if you take out Saliba, Gabriel, Odegaard and Rice from that team, they're probably fighting relegation or something, you know what I mean? And we're sitting here 5 points from top of the league. It's absolutely nuts to me. So Ange is doing such a fantastic job.
I'm glad you said that, Ben, because I've been rattling on about that for the last 2 weeks. And, you know, I don't know if you watched the BBC Match of the Day 2 on the weekend there. Spurs just had this great performance. What do they focus on? Man United. They were focusing on Man United going wrong. And it took Ian Wright to turn around and say, Spurs have got 12 players missing, right? It took a former Arsenal player to put that point across. And I totally agree with you, Ben. Not enough is being made about it in the press and on TV about a situation that we've overcome.
But,
and like, go on, HG, sorry.
If this is what the press do, I mean, they're going to focus on the negatives. Overcoming negatives is important. If the other team don't have negatives, then we can talk about Spurs. But Man United are Man United, right? They'll get like I read the 16 conclusions on Football 365, and I think 13 of them were to do with Man United. So I understand, but I quite like the under the radar stuff. If they only talk about Spurs when they feel like it, and there are other things to talk about, fantastic. If we can get to Easter time and just be there or thereabouts, and everyone thinks deep down Spurs are going to bottle it at some point because so we can just kind of get on with things. Like, we can stay 3-5 points behind. My concern is that we won't win every game, and we might have to do that to be in that position. But I don't mind so much that they can focus on other teams, because great. Like, we know what we're good at. Everybody else thinks that Spurs were lucky in the first bit. They haven't really known what we're going through, and fine, that's great. They'll care if Spurs, but overcoming negativity it just doesn't sell. Like negativity is what, sadly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Sim?
I think we're well ahead of schedule, to be honest, in terms of how, I think even Ange has admitted like he's been so impressed by how the players have taken to his system so quickly. And I don't think he even expected the football to be like, he said even in pre-season, like he couldn't believe already he started to see the players really implementing what he was trying to put forward to them so quickly. And you already saw in pre-season, even though we had a few, I think we lost to West Ham, we had a few losses, but even in those games, you could see the football was already being implemented. We saw like signs of it. And
I remember sitting here with you watching that West Ham game. We lost the game, but we were sitting here buzzing because of the way we were playing our football.
Yeah, because we were playing so well. And even Ange said in the first 10 games, we're obviously getting great results, but he's like, I don't even think we're even touch the surface of what we can do going forward. Yeah, I think we're doing well. We're getting results defensively, but like going forward, we haven't even scratched the surface of how fluid we can be. And I think we've definitely improved that since even with the injuries, the fluidity of the team has really gone up a notch. But I think the way he's got us playing, regardless of who he puts on the pitch at this point, we're still playing a great football. We're still giving teams a game. You know, we went to the Etihad with Davis and Emerson centre back and came away with a 3-3 draw and played some really good football, sticking in games. No, I think the great thing as well, not only do we play good football, we're showing character. We're showing that when we're not allowing goals against us to affect how we play and affect the mood of the team. We're not letting our heads drop. These are things that usually take a lot of time to instill in a football team, this mentality, and not only the tactical side as well. And I think the fact that Ange is already implementing that at such a stage after 6 months is a massive credit to him. And I think we're doing exceptionally well. I think Ange obviously is very confident in his own ability, but I think even he would be slightly surprised that it's going this well,
only
this
slightly.
quickly. I really think so. I think he would be. I think this is always going to be the aim, to accelerate the process as quickly as possible. But I don't think he would have expected us to be this high up the pitch, this high up the league table, at this stage of the season. And I think he'll be looking at it at this point thinking there's no reason why we can't push on and have a better second half of the season than we had the first because of the players coming back. And I'm thinking about it as well. Apart from, if you take away Man City and Chelsea, who obviously got like so much money to spend and all that, how many managers have come in and had as good and have got their team playing as well as we have in such a short space of time? It's very rare.
You look at the top managers.
It's not often.
Look at them. Pep Guardiola took time to get his implement his ideas at Man City. Jurgen Klopp was the same. Arteta, well, I mean, 2 8th place finishes later, and then a failed top 4 challenge, and then he's there.
But I'm saying,
even these top managers take time.
Even if you take out like some of the top clubs, like it's very rare you get a manager coming in to a team like Spurs who haven't won anything.
Hey, Nuno got 3 wins out of 3 games, please.
Yeah, I mean, we all saw the football. I mean,
a caveat to that.
Maybe only Eddie Howe at Newcastle, you can say, last season, but I don't think they were playing the football that we've been playing this season. They've been playing very aggressive. They were great and they got top 4, but I can't think of a manager apart from at City and Chelsea, who obviously have won leagues in their first years and stuff at those clubs. I can't think of too many managers who've made such an impact in such a short space of time.
All I'm hearing from Arsenal fans is new manager bounce still. But Johnny, go. What were you about to say?
No, I was going to say the caveat I have to this is, right, and I said this at the beginning of the season, I always felt that Conte had a team of progressive players that he tried to play pragmatic football. And I really do believe that when Ange came into the club, what he benefited with was a team of players, a squad of players that have been suppressed. They were progressive players that have been suppressed playing this pragmatic football. And it was like, I'm going to set you free. And they embraced it so quickly because, you know, a footballer wants to play football. Most people want to play an attacking type of football. And I think that's why the transition was so quick from where we were to where we went so quickly, is because it was like a breath of fresh air. Finally, we've been released. That pressure on the pass, you know, how everyone looked like they were scared to make the pass, and suddenly, you know, I know some fans were going, "Oh, look, he's make a stray pass." He wants you to take those risks. You know, we've gone from don't take risks to take all the risks, and as I say, I think they've embraced it, and I think that's why the progression has been so quick, and they've accepted Ange ball, both us as fans and the players, and that's why it's been so good. That's my opinion, anyway.
Yeah, and I'm relishing that cup tie.
To me, the thing that separates Ange a little bit is that every manager comes in, if they're a new manager, and says, "We need time, right? We need time to get things right, to instill a system of play, all of the things, right?" And Ange just said, "Judge me in my second season, right? That's it. Like 1 year, but actually judge me based on next year." And so if things go wrong next year, then okay, but that's fine. But it's just the confidence and say, okay, I might need a season for things to really go, but second season, and in his eyes, he's thinking title. Like, I have no doubt that in Ange's mind, next season there's a title push. Whatever happens this season is a bonus, but next season he's thinking, I want to win it all. And so for the players to know that, to understand that, like, you know, okay, we might win 3-2, we might win 4-2, we might lose 2, like, but it's about scoring goals. So conceding after 2.5 minutes at Old Trafford doesn't matter, because it just means you've got 87 minutes to beat them rather than 90. But the attitude of the team is the same. And it's so refreshing, and none of us can really understand it because it is different to how everyone else operates. Like, Jurgen Klopp had massive success in Germany. Pep obviously had Messi and had massive success wherever he's gone. But none of them came out and said, you know, first year we're going to be rubbish, or like, you know, second year we'll see what happens. For Ange to come in, knowing full well he's going to lose his best player, and still be like, judge me in my second season.
Who?
You can't help but love the man.
Absolutely spot on.